Hey everybody, welcome back. Here we are. The journey to help is what we're going to be talking about today. So get ready. Hold down.
I'll find you. Just hold on and I'll find you.
I'm hanging on by a thread, and all I'm clinging to is prayers. And every breath is like a battle. I feel like I ain't come prepared. And death's knocking on the front door. Pain's creeping through the back. Fears crawling through the windows. Waiting for 'em to...
What's up, everybody? We just came back for our second episode. Kind of excited to talk about this one. I'm going to do the format just slightly different. We're still going to talk like we did last week, but we're also going to do some Q&A. So I've got the live broadcast here up on Facebook. So, as we talk, feel free to ask questions, and we kind of want to engage in that as well.
So, hi.
What's
Welcome.
up, everybody? We just came back. Sorry,
What are you doing?
I'm messing things up over here.
Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about the journey to help, and I thought it'd be important for Corey to share kind of emotionally what he was feeling, the depression, how it started, the blood work, all of that. We kind of touched a little bit on that last time. And then I'm going to share with you guys my side of getting him to, well, let's just say a 5150, and we'll tell you what that looks like. But we're going to give you a little bit of the backstory of what he was going through and how he was feeling. And then we're going to share with you how we got to the next page. So
where did we leave off last time? Where were we?
So you had the depression, and you were going through all of that, right? And then you were going through the blood work and everything, and then it was the thyroid, and then we thought maybe it was Lyme disease, and we talked about that. So then he was noticing as time went on that he was getting brain fog and
So I was getting brain fog, and I mean, really the only way I can explain it is it's kind of like a dizziness, and a brain fog. I got lost in my own neighborhood. Literally, I'd be a block down the street, couldn't find my way home. So I remember coming home and asking and just telling you, hey, I need to go to the doctor.
But brain fog was a little bit more than that.
I don't remember a lot of it. So.
He would forget things. He would disassociate. He would put himself in like this weird state of feeling where it was like none of us were like, what are you talking about? Or we didn't say that, and he was living in kind of his own little foggy tunnel for a little while. And it was hard to decipher. Really, it was. And for us, like never experiencing it, it was the first time, right? So we're like, what's wrong with that?
And I lost a lot of connections, right? Like I no longer had the ability to feel love. No longer had the ability to give love. Just felt numb, as numb can be, right?
And the brain fog coincide with the depression and the crying, and also the mania, where he was having like spouts of not being able to sleep, talking 75 miles an hour. Like none of us could understand him. And then there would be moments of, this weird, like, I don't remember you telling me that. Like, I literally just told you that 5 minutes ago. So we had to set out and like figure out, okay, what is it? What's going on? What is it that we need to do for Corey? And so I had been on a work trip, and I went to my normal trip that I do every year for work. And I was a little worried. So I left the kids in charge because I knew that there was something going on with Corey, and like I was worried.
The kids in charge, literally.
Well, and your mom, and your dad. They were all there, right? And I said, "Hey, I'm leaving. This is."
Yeah. See, I don't remember any of this.
I didn't really tell him a lot of that, but anyway. So I left it there, and I was checking in every day, and it got to the point where like. It started to become where I never knew what I was going to get. Like I never knew if I was going to get a guy that was high on life that day, or if I was going to get a guy that was bawling, crying about something that was just absurd. So as me, in like my cognizant way, I'm thinking like, it makes no sense. But for him, thinking his thoughts and where he was in that moment was everything. And I didn't know that. I don't know. Shit, I don't know. You think you're gonna be homeless? Like, no, dude. What are you talking about? Never gonna let you be homeless. That was a real feeling for you.
Oh yeah, I was terrified of it.
Yeah.
I think that was my biggest fear, because you see these people are out. I used to look at homeless as, you guys just didn't want a job, you didn't want to work, or whatever the case may be, or you just felt like doing drugs or whatever. I don't know what the fuck the situation is, but that's kind of how I always saw homeless people. I really never understood homelessness, and I look at homeless people now, and I'm like, my heart just freaking sinks, because I got to the point where, I knew my family was so sick of me. I was so sick of me. And I saw friends kind of disappear, didn't receive text messages from people, no more phone calls. And you get to the point where you're just waiting for the people to walk away from you, right? And that was my biggest fear is, am I going to be 60 years old, sleeping in San Francisco, homeless? Right.
Well, and for a spouse or a friend or anybody that has ever been on the other side of this, it's just so unclear, and so you don't understand what's going on with that person, right? And you love them and you want to help them, but you don't know how the heck to do that. And everything I was doing was wrong. Everything I said wasn't enough. Everything I tried, I was wrong. And he would tell me I'm wrong, right? And so it got to the point I had to in because I couldn't. It's like, you want me to help you, but you just keep fighting me. And so fight me, it was a constant battle. Anyway, going back to when I went on my work trip, I went on this work trip, and mind you, this had been going on for a month before I went on that work trip. And I had talked to him, and I was ready to come home that night. He had done really well while I was gone and just coped, and he just had a breakdown knowing that I was coming home, and he's like, I need help. Like, I don't know what to do, and I can't live like this. And it was sad. It was so detrimental, because I was like, I can't live like this either. I don't like it. I don't like you like this. Like, anything, I'll do anything, and we finally got to where I told him, I said, well, I'm going to start calling around while I'm sitting in the airport, like getting ready to drive home or fly home from East Coast, to West, worrying about my husband, my family, everything, and I'm like, okay, we're going to get through this. And, I had a layover in Denver. So, I'm calling him, wondering and asking if he's okay. And he's not okay. He's sobbing, crying. He's not okay. He's like ready to just be done. Right. And so I'm hurrying to try to get home to him. And I finally get there, and I told him, I said, hey, these are our options. Our only option is that, like, I'm going to get to the airport, and you're going to meet me at the county hospital in Concord. I said, because that's the only thing that's open right now, and that's the only thing that we can do.
So I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, so he meets me there, and we get to the county hospital, and we're there. And Corey has, I don't know, for those of you that had seen him during this phase, but he was twitching and having like these really, like, it was like the uncontrollable shakes, and so we're sitting in this county hospital waiting for the people to come to get him. And all of the nurses, you can see everybody like coming in, pointing at him, looking at him, and he's like shaking. It's horrible. And I keep hitting him to stop and he's like, I can't. And I'm like, dude, they keep staring at you. Fucking stop.
There were like six people who worked at the hospital, like staring through windows and shit. It was,
mind you,
it was embarrassing, but I think I kind of looked at it as, they're just interested, right? Like, what is wrong with this guy? I really haven't seen. Even the neurologist, like we touched on this last time.
Yeah.
Even the neurologist said that she went back and talked to 5 other neurologists, and they were like, we don't have a clue. We don't know what's wrong with you.
His body was basically like, fix me. That's the only way I can say it. it was to that level of anxiety where he could no longer hide it, because had he continued to hide it, he would have not got help. And so I knew that that wasn't controllable, even though it was embarrassing and I would always tell him to stop. I knew it wasn't controllable. But anyway, so we sat there, and we sat there for an hour and a half at county, mind you. Freaking weird. No offense.
We're at the county hospital?
Yeah, no offense. No, we're at the county mental like place. And so, no offense, there's like this weird guy next to me that keeps staring at me. He's looking at me going, if that guy looks at you one more time, I'm gonna punch him. I'm all, babe, he's got issues. Like,
oh, okay. I remember this time you're talking. Okay,
yeah.
I remember the place you're at now.
And you're like,
this wasn't the mental hospital. This was just a county.
This was the county admittance for mental. So they
no. This was a county doctor. So this was like a county psychiatrist that was open like on an off day Sunday. Or something like that, on a Sunday that we went to. Yeah.
So they said, listen, we can't help you. The only way that you guys can get help is to go to the emergency room and admit yourself. And we're like, all right. So we go home that night. We drink. And we hang out. He has 75 beers. Everything's great. Not really.
No.
And and then after that, the next morning we get up and I was like, all right, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. They said to go to the emergency room. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So we go to the emergency room, and the guy, like, the closer you get to the hospital, the guy's like Tourette's, not Tourette's. I said that last time. What was it? What is the...
wow, I'm drawing a blank. Parkinson's, yeah. Parkinson's.
Yeah, like
so
he's
yeah,
just got this twitching. It was like the weirdest thing. But, yeah. Honestly, for those of you that know me, you know that it was annoying me so bad, because I'm like, he's just stopping weird. And I couldn't help him. And I wasn't judging him, I was just annoyed. But long story short, we ended up getting to the emergency room, and Corey, God bless his heart, twitching his whole way in. And we get there. He can't even hand the person his medical card because he's twitching so bad. So I end up having to give it to them. And then they took him right back because it was not something he could have sat in the waiting room with. It was pretty bad. And we got in there, and and the doctor had seen him, and you could tell by everybody's look on their face, it was like, gosh, we've never seen anybody like this. Like, is he okay? Is he on drugs? Is he, like, I could tell all of those things are running through their mind. But then I was there, right? So they're like, well, she would be telling us if he was like off his rocker, right? And I said, no, he's not. I just don't know how to help him, right?
Right.
So they ended up taking us to a room, and we got into a room, and we're sitting there. And for those of you who know Corey, like, he hates hospitals, and he also really values his gun rights, right? And so, we're sitting there, and the doctor comes in, and he's all, look, man, he's like, you can go home, or we can sign you up for a 5150 if you think that you're in harm of yourself.
Well, no, that's what it was. No. This part I remember clearly. No,
it was like that.
Well, kind of, but what it was is we tried to get outpatient care, and I think we talked about this last week, but we'll just cover it real quick. Mm-hmm. We tried to get outpatient care. Outpatient care was 6 months. It was a 6-month wait, right? And so we went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you can get in, you can do a shortcut into the outpatient care if you do a 5150. And so I said, there's just no way I can wait, right? And the doctor made up a little note that said, patient said, life isn't worth living. I didn't actually say that to the doctor, but that's kind of what he wrote on the paper to get me in.
Well, so the doctor actually did come in the room, and he said, look, man, he's like, I get it. Like, you want help. Yeah. He's like, these are your options. You either go home, or you basically tell me that you're in danger.
Yeah. We did cover all this last week.
Yeah. Well, not all of it.
This portion.
Are you trying to cut me off?
No, just let you know.
No, I think they're trying me off. So then they come in, and what did they say?
Wait, what did who say?
The doctor. Mr. Romero, would you like to take a 5150.
Right.
He looks at me like I'm going to decide for him. I'm like, fuck no, I am not deciding this.
In the state of California, if you have a
All on you.
5150, they take your gun rights away, which is fucked up, right? Which is just ain't right. But then again, they also make you wait 6 months to get help. So either way, you're fucked if you live in California.
Yeah.
It's a shitty state.
So there's a lot more to this part of it. But so he ends up taking the 5150. Okay. He goes, they're wheeling him away. They have to take him in an ambulance to county psych because it's Sunday and none of the John Muir psychiatric places that he could go to were open.
It was Friday.
Oh, it was a Friday.
Yeah, it was a Friday.
Yeah, that's right, because he was in there that whole weekend. And so it was every night or every like 15 minutes when he was there and he could get a hold of a phone, he's calling me, telling me about like what people are doing in this place, right? And mind you, the guys in county,
right?
Yeah, tell them about what it was like to be in county.
Yeah, just
psych ward.
Yeah, people throwing shit, people shitting, right? Just they literally give you. It's probably it's probably similar to county jail, right? The mattresses are like maybe an inch thick, and you're sleeping on metal in a concrete room, eating shitty food. Right.
I'm pretty sure every time the phone was available, he picked it up and called me, like whoever got off of it, because he was like, hey, I can't do this. I can't be here. And I get it. Like I told him, listen, this is temporary. You're going to get into like where you need to be. I said, just keep calling me as much as you need to, 2:00 in the morning. Oh my God, this lady just chased me down the hallway. Like just different things,
Right.
Sadly, that's the society that we live in, right? And thankfully, he was cognizant enough to know the difference. But in the same sense, he was still there, and our system, honestly, is so screwed up and ass backwards. Like the common person just can't go get help. What? Like you can't just get help? No, because they all want to give you pills and medication. And
literally every single one of them.
Yeah, they just want to numb you out of feeling the way that you're feeling.
Yeah, even when I left county, went over to John Muir, still on a 5150 hold, and I was there for 4 days, I believe.
No,
I got there Monday morning. I was there a week. Okay,
mm-hmm.
So I think my 72 hours had come up, and they're supposed to release you after 72 hours. Even they're supposed to give you credit for county as well, but. They had come to me and said, hey, we can release you, but, we'd recommend you stay just because we want to help you. And so I could have walked out, right? But I decided to stay as hard as it was. And it literally sit in a room. There was one guy, all he would watch is the Olympics, and he was like 6'4", just a fucking huge guy. So, everyone's going to let the guy watch Olympics. So I could color, watch the Olympics, call her, or go to bed and read a book, right? So those are my options. So the medication-wise, touching on what Amanda was saying, all they do is sedate you. They just loaded me up with Seroquel. They had me on 200 milligrams of Seroquel, and literally it just turns you into a fucking zombie. Now, it did slow me down to where the shaking slowed down, but the shaking didn't go away. But it definitely did slow it down. But yeah. They'd walk you down. Like I saw, sorry, not even daylight. I saw the sky. I saw the sky one time while I was there. You got to go out in a little area, which is probably like 15 feet by 15 feet. And there's like iron gates all the way around you. And you can look up at the sky and you've got 10 minutes outside. And we only got that once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really hard. And so part of going back to the other side of mental health is that was his experience, right? For me, I'm at home. I have 3 boys, and I'm taking care of them. I have his family calling me every hour, what's the latest, what's happening, checking in. I honestly, like, it was really hard on my side too. And then I've got him calling me constantly, telling me how he didn't want to be there and how he didn't belong there and that I needed to come get him out. and that he was going to break out if I didn't come get him out. And I'm like, nope, you need to stay there.
I was literally watching doors too.
Well, and I was
watching doors
him.
going, motherfucker, I could get past at least 3 or 4 of these nurses, right?
But
a couple elbows and right out 2 doors, and I'm good. I'm golden. But I knew I'd be fucked. I'd be screwed.
Well, I kept reminding him.
Position.
I said, look, you spent like 2.5 days at county. Do you want to go back through that system again, or you just want to like tough this out?
Yeah, I wouldn't
stay
have had
here.
Help. I wouldn't have had aftercare help.
You know, and here's the other thing: when you're in it, when you're him and you're in it, you're not seeing what's real. And he constantly was seeing like illusions and like different things. And I'm like, nobody's doing that.
Illusions? You've seen illusions?
Yeah, like you would tell me, oh, so-and-so's, they're trying to do this or they're trying to do that. And I'm like, babe, they're not. Just stay where you are and just be in what you're doing. And
oh, no. Yeah. What it was is I wasn't seeing.
No, not mental illusion.
Yeah,
like
I was like, wait a minute.
Shit up in your head.
I forgot some
not,
stuff, but
not
I was
illusions.
like, yeah, I saw a leprechaun one day, you
Not
know.
like that.
So yeah, no. So what was happening was people were hitting their release dates and they weren't letting them out. Right? They were like, "Yep, nope, you're staying," and they would have to go file a case and go see the judge. Mm-hmm. Right? So I was calling her, going, "They're gonna fucking keep me here. Like, you got to get me out of this place." Right? And then so there was one nurse there that was most of the nurses and doctors. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care. Like literally I had one guy just go, yep, here's your meds. And he threw me out of the room. That was a doctor, right? Complete fucking Dr. Shack. Dr. Shack, don't ever see that guy as an asshole. No personality, doesn't give a shit about anybody. That's how most of the doctors, even in this place, and nurses were, except for one nurse.
Okay, so stop for a sec. So listen, you hear that. You hear the rant. Like this is normal. This is what happens, right? The guy was a jerk, right? That he was the doctor that he was dealing with. I'll give him that. But when I'm in it and he's getting the care and help that he needs after I've been across country for all this time, like this is honey, this is exactly where you need to be. And I love you. And tough love was the hardest thing in the whole freaking world, right? And I'm just here to say, like if you love somebody enough to like stand in their corner, like listen, feel, understand, right? But they also,
yeah. If I don't have her, I probably would never have
so
been in that place.
convincing. Like, okay, you know, I feel bad for you. Like, I'm gonna come get you. No, don't do it. This is the place that he needed to be in that moment, and there's an aftermath to all of it. Like we said, this is like one piece of the puzzle and one piece of our journey of help and wellness. And we may have gone on and ranted a little bit today, but it's all real. It's just real. And like our kids felt it. They didn't know what to do. They were bummed and sad, you know, that dad was feeling so sad. Honestly, at some points I didn't know, like this. I knew him being there, he was safe.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the title, just so we don't sidetrack and ramble on too much, which is the journey to help. Right. So, what did that look like, really? I know I could not have done it personally or myself. I mean, I couldn't keep a thought straight for the life of me. So me trying to get help, I mean, I would Google something and I would even forget what I Googled, right? And I would read something and I would forget what I read. There's no way I could do it. So I really, had to depend on her. So for people who are having mental issues, or if you know people who are having mental issues.
If you have someone that's trying to help you, just listen, because they don't have to.
Yeah, that's really hard to say, right? Because when I was in
not
it, like
always.
Right. No, I'm yeah, right. No, I'm just saying for me, that was hard to say. I would say this, that for the people who have family members or friends that are going through it,
that they respect and care about,
don't walk away from them,
yeah.
right? Because All I know is I was in hell. I literally sat on the way I would just explain it. Literally sat on the fucking devil's lap for I don't know how long it was, 2 years ago now, something like that.
Do you remember that time that we went to the doctor and she like made you like get in touch with God or whatever, and we went to like
that weird doctor?
No, the one that we went to that was at where the other doctor was. Remember? And she was like, Corey, I just want you to calm down and think of yourself sitting on top of a mountain and God sitting next to you. And
yeah, I think so.
You. And remember you started
She the one in Dublin?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was weird, but she was cool. She was really nice. Really nice. But it was at the time she was just really weird.
So that was another part of our desperate measures. But there is people in your corner that love you and that know, like they honestly, I'll be the first person to say I have no idea what it's like to have depression and anxiety. Like we all have our own darkness. Mine is completely different from his. Right. But I have no idea what that feels like. And so I only know what he has told me and I've only witnessed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I know we kind of went on and on tonight, but I hope that you guys got something from this. This is only the first piece of our journey through it. I think next week we're going to go into numbing.
Yeah, sure. We can go in the numbing next week. Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be a good one.
But before we leave, I just want to talk real quick about kind of the, I want to just cover the topic, the journey to health, right? Or help. So not only did I have her in my corner, I'm lucky as hell to have her in my corner. But she found me all these appointments. Like I couldn't make appointments. Lose my fucking mind. I couldn't figure. I got off the phone and I'm like, well, I don't even know what day. I know what doctor I just called. Literally, I think it happened a couple of times where I got off and I'm like, I have an appointment. I don't even know where I'm going. Like, I have no clue what doctor appointment I have. But the doctor appointments that she scheduled for me, and she'd write them down, and I would go to these, and you literally just get shit on almost, right? And because you go to these doctors who just went through medical school and they understand the science, they read textbooks, sure. But they're terrible, right? You literally walk into a room, and mind you, the only time they had appointments, I think I saw 6 of these guys. The only time I had appointments was between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And we lived in Brentwood, California at the time. And the appointments were over in Concord and Walnut Creek. So what does that mean? So now I'm stuck in traffic, right? Mm-hmm. So I already have bad enough anxiety. So now I'm driving through this traffic. I'm going to go to these doctors, and they literally just scribble something down for a minute or two and look up and go, yeah, I'm going to give you this. And then the next time you see them, I'm going to give you a little bit more, a little bit less, right? And you ask for, like, hey, can I have like 2 months or 90 days? And they're like, yeah, no. They're just money machines, right? That's all.
So that actually, I promise you, next week in our journey, we're going to share with you the numbing phase, which is probably going to be the most uncomfortable phase for both of us. But also the doctor that I found, because that was the game changer.
He was like,
so.
He was like a saint riding on a horse coming over the mountain.
Well, I'm the saint.
He was
on my horse and buggy.
There you go. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Anyway,
so next week we'll talk about. You think we should cover suicide next week?
Well, it depends how far. Well, I thought we were going to do numbing.
Well, that's part of it, and then maybe the week after we talk about the doctor.
No. Okay, well, I'll give you guys a little tidbit on the doctor next week. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. Give you just a little bit of a hint of information on the doctor.
Because there's a lot about that doctor that you guys all could learn a lot from. And if you're local in the Bay Area or
I would give a hand
wherever. Well, I probably would too.
Yeah, I think we both would.
So gross. Anyway, all right, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
Night. Enjoy your weekend.